Breaking, police raid Makebi Zulu's home, shocking discovery inside, full story. Late-night police activity, flashing lights, and a sudden raid in Malambo. Authorities have moved in on Makebi Zulu's residence, sparking intense speculation across Zambia's political and legal circles. Was this a routine operation, or the start of something much bigger? Stay with us as we unpack what happened, why it matters, and what could come next. Good day, viewers. Welcome to another edition of InspirAfrica Official. I'm Nakash. It's been quite a week here, and as we head into the weekend, there's a story that's absolutely dominated the headlines, one that's sent shockwaves through communities and lit up social media like wildfire. Today, we're bringing you the full story behind the dramatic police raid on the home of Makebi Zulu, a raid that has left more questions than answers, and revealed discoveries that nobody saw coming. Picture this. The early morning darkness still clinging to the streets. The silence broken only by the rumble of police vehicles converging on a single address. Neighbors peering through curtains, hearts racing, as armed officers surround a property they'd passed 1,000 times without a second thought. And inside? Well, what they found inside has become the subject of intense speculation, fierce debate, and genuine shock. What could possibly justify such a massive show of force? What were authorities really looking for when they breached those doors at dawn? And more importantly, what did they find that has everyone talking? Was this the culmination of a months-long investigation, or a response to fresh intelligence that demanded immediate action? Had Makebi Zulu been living a double life, hiding secrets behind closed doors while maintaining a public persona? What connections might investigators have uncovered, and who else might be implicated? Here's the question that keeps surfacing. If the discoveries are as significant as early reports suggest, how did this go undetected for so long? What does this mean for those who knew Makebi Zulu, who trusted him, who perhaps did business with him or called him friend? And perhaps most critically, is this raid the end of the story, or merely the beginning of something far larger and more disturbing than we yet realize? Factual foundation. The revelation came to light in the early hours of Thursday morning, January 16, 2026, when a specialized police unit descended upon the residence of Makebi Zulu in what sources are calling a carefully coordinated operation. The property in question, located in a middle-class residential area, had been under surveillance for approximately 3 weeks prior to the raid, according to information leaked from sources close to the investigation. Makebi Zulu, a 38-year-old businessman with interests in logistics and import-export trade, had apparently triggered red flags during a routine audit conducted by authorities in late December. The initial suspicion emerged when financial irregularities were detected during what was supposed to be a standard compliance check. Discrepancies between declared income and observable lifestyle expenditures prompted investigators to dig deeper. What they found in those preliminary inquiries was enough to secure a search warrant from a magistrate on January 14. At approximately 5:47 a.m. on the 16th, a convoy of 5 police vehicles arrived at the residence. The tactical unit was accompanied by forensic specialists, financial crimes investigators, and what witnesses described as plainclothes officers carrying documentation boxes. Neighbors reported that the operation lasted nearly 7 hours. Officers were seen carrying out multiple sealed evidence bags, electronic devices including laptops and external hard drives, boxes of documents, and what one witness described as some kind of equipment or machinery, covered with tarps. Makebi Zulu himself was detained at the scene and taken in for questioning. His lawyer, who arrived approximately 2 hours into the raid, was permitted limited access but was not allowed to interfere with the search process. By early afternoon, preliminary reports began circulating about the nature of the discoveries, reports that would soon explode across news outlets and social media platforms. The first official statement came from police spokesperson Inspector James Mutel during a hastily arranged press conference later that same day. At approximately 5:45 a.m. this morning, officers from the Criminal Investigations Division executed a lawfully obtained search warrant at a residence in the Eastern District. I can confirm that a male suspect, aged 38, has been taken into custody for questioning in relation to, ongoing investigations into serious criminal activities. The nature of these activities, I'm not at liberty to fully disclose at this time as the investigation is, still very much active. When pressed by journalists about the specific discoveries, Inspector Mutel became notably cautious. What I can say is that items of significant evidentiary value have been recovered from the premises. These items are currently being examined by our forensic teams and, we expect a full report within the next 48 to 72 hours. The discoveries made have, let me just say, they have exceeded our initial expectations in terms of scope. Reporter, can you confirm whether weapons were found? Inspector Mutal, I cannot comment on specific items at this stage. Reporter, what about contraband or illegal substances? Inspector Mutal, again, I cannot provide those details right now. What I will say is that the evidence recovered speaks to activities that are being treated with the utmost seriousness by this department. Reporter, is Mr. Zulu connected to any organized criminal networks? Inspector Mutal, that forms part of our ongoing investigation. We are exploring all possible connections and, I would urge the public not to speculate. Let the investigative process unfold. Meanwhile, Makebi Zulu's attorney, Gerald Firai, released his own statement to the media. My client categorically denies any wrongdoing whatsoever. Mr. Zulu is a legitimate businessman who has cooperated fully with authorities. He was not informed of the nature of the allegations before the raid occurred, which we believe represents a serious procedural concern. We're reviewing our legal options and we expect that once the facts are properly examined, my client will be completely exonerated. The characterization of this matter in the media has been, frankly, sensationalized and premature. But perhaps the most revealing testimony came from a neighbor who spoke on condition of anonymity. Look, I've lived next to Makebi for about 4 years now. He seemed like a regular guy, you know? Polite, kept to himself mostly. But there were things that didn't quite add up. Like, he'd have these late-night deliveries. I'm talking 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Trucks would pull up, guys would unload stuff into his garage. I thought maybe it was just, I don't know, his business or whatever. But it was frequent. Very frequent. And the vehicles, they never had company logos or anything. Just plain trucks. So when I saw the police this morning, I can't say I was completely shocked, you know? I was more like, finally, someone else noticed. Another source, claiming to be familiar with the investigation but speaking off the record, provided more disturbing details. What they found in that house, it's not just about financial crimes. We're talking about a sophisticated operation. There was equipment for manufacturing, certain items. There were detailed records of transactions involving multiple individuals across different regions. And then there's the digital evidence. The encrypted communications, the offshore accounts. This goes way beyond one person acting alone. Deeper analysis. The implications of this raid extend far beyond the immediate charges that Makebi Zulu may face. Legal experts have weighed in on what this case reveals about gaps in regulatory oversight and enforcement. Constitutional lawyer Dr. Patricia Mwanza offered her perspective. What we're seeing here is potentially a failure of multiple systems. If the allegations prove accurate, and I emphasize if, then we must ask how such activities could operate undetected for what appears to be an extended period. Financial institutions have reporting obligations. Neighbors and community members observe patterns. Yet it often takes a specific trigger, like this audit, to bring things to light. This should prompt a serious review of our monitoring mechanisms. Political reactions have been swift and divided. Opposition party spokesperson Martin Banda used the incident to criticize the government's approach to law enforcement. This raid demonstrates what we've been saying for years, that criminal networks have been allowed to flourish under the current administration's watch. The fact that it took routine paperwork to uncover what was allegedly happening is an indictment of our intelligence and policing capabilities. We need proactive investigation, not reactive responses. The ruling party, however, defended the police action through their spokesman. This operation shows that our law enforcement agencies are vigilant and effective. When irregularities are detected, swift action is taken. That's exactly what the public expects and deserves. We should commend the officers involved rather than politicizing their professional work. Legal analysts have also raised important procedural questions. The timing of the raid, before dawn, with significant force, has prompted debate about proportionality and rights protection. Defense attorney Susan Kapembwa, not connected to the case, noted, "While police have the authority to execute search warrants, the manner of execution must be proportionate to the suspected offense. If this was primarily a financial crimes investigation, the use of tactical units and the level of force employed will certainly be scrutinized." Defense counsel will likely argue that this was intimidation rather than legitimate law enforcement. There are also unresolved questions about the chain of evidence. With such a massive collection of materials, electronics, documents, physical items, maintaining proper documentation and preventing contamination becomes critical. Any misstep could provide grounds for suppression of evidence. Beyond the legal dimensions, this case has reignited public conversation about trust and deception. How well do we really know our neighbors, our business associates, the people we encounter in daily life? Social media has been flooded with speculation, conspiracy theories, and amateur detective work, some of it dangerously close to vigilantism. Community leaders have called for calm and patience, urging residents not to draw premature conclusions or engage in harassment of Zulu's family members, who remain in the area. And hovering over everything is the central mystery. What exactly was discovered in that home? Until authorities release a detailed inventory, speculation will continue to run rampant. The fragments of information available in manufacturing equipment, encrypted communications, offshore accounts paint a picture of something far more complex than simple financial fraud. And that's where things stand as of today, viewers. A story that's still very much developing, with new information emerging by the hour. We want to thank you for watching this breakdown of the Makebi Zulu raid. As always, we're committed to bringing you the facts as they emerge, cutting through the noise and speculation to deliver the truth. What do you think about this case? Do you believe there's more to this story than what's been revealed so far? Have you experienced anything similar in your community, situations where things weren't quite what they seemed? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We read every single one, and your perspectives help shape our coverage. We'll be following this story closely and will bring you updates as soon as they're available. Investigations like this can take weeks or even months to fully unfold, but we'll be here every step of the way, making sure you have the information you need. Until tomorrow, this is Nakash, reminding you to stay informed, stay engaged, and stay critical in how you consume news. We'll see you in the next one.